Hey, peace and mercy to all you fellow brothers out there, man. All praises to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Salutations to the 1/3 and the 144. So, it's gonna be the second video of the day. What I wanted to do was read the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 3. It says, "Ministers of a new covenant," and pretty much every opportunity that I get, this is pretty much what gives me joy each and every day that I wake up, and I'm sure you brothers feel the same way. The sincere ones, man. I ain't talking about all you guys out there that are denying the new covenant, or you terrorists out there, because you got to really be discerning who's who in these last days, man. And it's really about the spirit. That's really what it's about. The Lord he's given us access to His heart through His Son, and it's not like the old covenant where we're dealing with prophets and judges. But now we have direct access to His heart through His Son. And He's given us that blueprint to everlasting life through love, man. He showed us the way to everlasting life now through that redemption. So whoever wants everlasting life, whether you're a Jew or a Greek or a Gentile, He showed that way. And this is what all the disciples were teaching. See, this is the only thing that really matters in these last days, man. Everything is based upon the new covenant. So without the new covenant, you don't have everlasting life. You don't have salvation. You don't have that mercy that these guys said they're talking about so much. The Lord, He gave us mercy through His Son because we couldn't keep it through the Levitical priest, through the old law. We became like the world. That's why the world became guilty before God. So the Lord, He's showing His mercy to humankind by giving us the new covenant. So by God's denying the new covenant, they're pretty much swiping the Lord's hand away and saying they don't want that, going about to establish themselves under Moses, which is only going to lead you to condemnation. And this is going to go ahead and explain this because it wasn't the law, it was us that broke it. It was us that couldn't keep our end of the bargain. 2 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 1. Do we again begin again to command ourselves, or need we, as some others, epistles of condemnation to you, or letters of commendation from you? You are our epistles written in our hearts, known and read of all men. So when Paul was writing these epistles and these letters to the churches, by them growing and maturing in the spirit, in truth, that was Paul's fruit that he had. That's why it says you are our epistles written in our hearts, known and read of all men. So you brothers growing and learning in a new covenant, establishing a personal relationship with Christ. That's a beautiful thing, man. We're building upon the foundation of the Lamb. For as much as you are manifestly declared to be the epistle of Christ written by us, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not with tables of stones, but in fleshly tables of the heart. So the Lord is no more something outside of us, because every time He made it outside of us, we couldn't keep it. That's why the nations kept coming over us. That's why we kept slipping into captivity over and over and over. But He put it in our inward parts in these last days, ultimately perfecting us forever. So now you see the difference between the Levitical priesthood and the Melchizedek priesthood, which is an everlasting priesthood, which cleanses you forever. That's why He's known as a perfect man. And such trust have we through Christ to Godward. Not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think of ourselves of ourselves, but our sufficiency is of God, who has made us able ministers of the New Testament, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life. So the letter, if you say you're trying to keep the old law, then you're pretty much cursed, and that's what guys are doing. They're cursed, trying to teach something that's already done away with, man. And them trying to apply it to themselves, they're putting themselves under a curse. Just like they did back then, they put themselves under that curse when they said, "Let His blood be upon us." Y'all remember that shit? Well, that's what you guys are whipping in these last days, man. That's why it's not really no argument as far as the new covenant goes, the truth is being spoken. And we have the truth over here. So we're not debating with you guys, man, going back and forth. You law keepers, you guys are gonna die in that law that you say you're trying to keep. Nobody's justified by the law. That's why the Christ came. That's why he said his burden is light, because he made it easier. He made it easy, literally, he made it easy to have everlasting life through him. He gave you the example. He told you there's no other way. You got to go through him. But if the ministration of death, written and engraven in stones, was glorious, so that the children of Israel cannot steadfastly behold the face of Moses for the glory of his countenance, which glory was to be done away, how should not the ministration of the Spirit be rather glorious? So it's telling us the law had its own glory. Translation. Go to the NLT. It says, the old ways which laws etched in stone led to death, though it began with such glory that the people of Israel cannot bear to look at Moses' face, for his face shone through the glory of God, even though the brightness was already fading away. Right? We couldn't see the end of that. We couldn't see the end of Moses because it wasn't that perfect uh, ordinance. It wasn't that perfect. It wasn't of the spirit yet. So we can see the end of the spirit because it leads to everlasting life. We couldn't see the end of Moses because it doesn't. It's pretty much to condemn you. That's pretty much what it was set up for. But now we see what leads to everlasting life. The Lord brought down the blueprint that leads to everlasting life. Uh, for if that which is done, if that which was done away was glorious, much more that which remains is glorious. Seeing that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech. So we're making it plainly understood and understandable, so you can understand it. And that is Moses which put a veil over his face, that the children of Israel cannot steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished. But their minds were blinded, for until this day remaineth the same veil taken away in the readings of the Old Testament, which veil is done away in Christ. But even unto this day, when Moses is read, the veil is upon their hearts. Nevertheless, when they should turn to the Lord, the veil shall be taken away. Now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. But we all, with open face, beholding as in the glass the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. That's right. So even unto this very day, the veil that's been taken away from us, these guys still have the veil over their face. It's kind of like when you go to like a wedding and the bride is about to kiss the bridegroom, and when the guy tells the bridegroom kiss the bride, and that's what he does, he takes that veil off her face. That's what the Lord did to us. He took that veil from off us, so we can see Him plainly because we're looking into His heart. See, it's not just about knowing the Lord's name; it's about knowing His way, knowing His heart. That's what leads to everlasting life. His name is His heart. And pretty much with that, I'll catch you brothers to the next one. Shalom.